Page 5. Anna Martins was a renowned doctor, specialized in pediatric oncology, whose work was internationally recognized. A residente of São Paulo, Brasil. Anna dedicated her life to healing the youngest, those whose fragility and courage inspired her daily. Married to Eduardo, a university professor and mother of 2 children, Ana Lucia and Rodrigo, her life is relatively balanced between a demanding career and a solid family. On a day in December, a particularly challenging case arrived at São Paulo Central Hospital. Gabriel, a 5-year-old boy with a rare and aggressive type of leukemia, had been transferred from another hospital due to the complexity of his condition. Doctors there had already exhausted all conventional treatment options and suggested Gabriel's parents consider palliative care. Desperate and without losing faith, Gabriel's parents insisted on bringing him to the hospital where Anna worked, hoping that she could do something different. Upon receiving the case, Anna reviewed all of Gabriel's medical records and performed a series of additional tests. The situation was critical, and the prognosis was grim. Anna felt enormous pressure, not only as a doctor and mother, but mainly because Gabriel reminded him a lot of his younger brother, who had died 2 decades ago, precisely from the same illness. The sight of that boy's suffering touched her deeply, and she committed herself to doing everything in her power to save him. Anna proposed an experimental treatment, still in the early testing phase, but which showed some promise in similar cases. Gabriel's parents, clinging to any hope, agreed to proceed with the new treatment. Anna started therapy immediately, aware of the risks and uncertainties. For weeks, Gabriel was subjected to a rigorous treatment routine. Anna closely followed each stage, monitoring the boy's response and adjusting the protocol as necessary. There were days of small progress, followed by devastating setbacks. Gabriel's health teetered like an unstable scale, and moments of hope were often followed by despair. On a particularly difficult night, Gabriel suffered a serious complication. His vital signs began to fail, and he collapsed. Doctors and nurses struggled to stabilize him, but his chances of survival were slim. Anna, feeling helpless, retreated to the hospital chapel. There, alone and in tears, she did something she hadn't done in a long time. She prayed. Anna was a woman of science, but in that moment of despair, she asked for a miracle. He begged for a chance for Gabriel, an opportunity for him to live. In her prayers, she did not just ask for healing, but for the strength and wisdom to continue fighting for him and all his patients. Back in the ICU, the medical team continued the battle for Gabriel's life. When Anna returned, there was a solemn silence in the room. Miraculously, Gabriel's vital signs began to stabilize. The medical team was perplexed. There was no clear scientific explanation for the sudden improvement. It was as if an invisible force had intervened. In the following days, Gabriel began to show signs of stabilization. His exams revealed considerable improvement. The experimental treatment, combined with what many believed to be divine intervention, was working in ways no one could have predicted. Accustomed to that routine, professionals in the field had already seen a little bit of everything, but this case in particular was as if by magic, as the medical condition of a child who seemed like he wouldn't be able to stand it for a week, suddenly changes literally overnight. The news of Gabriel's recovery spread throughout the hospital. To many, he became known as the Iron Boy. Anna, who has always believed in science, began to recognize that sometimes faith and science can go hand in hand. She never abandoned medical principles, but came to accept that there are mysteries in life that go beyond what science can explain. In particular, that life that was saved under her care. It was as if he had saved the memory of his own brother. Dr. Anna, who had been suffering from depression for a few years, forgot that she had once suffered from it, because this miracle, through an honest prayer, freed her completely. Gabriel's recovery, when before it seemed that there would be no solution, was a milestone, not only in his and his family's life, but also in Anna's career. She continued to work hard, always looking for new forms of treatment and cure. Yet now he did so with a renewed humility and gratitude for the inexplicable help he received that December night. Weeks later, Gabriel was in complete remission. His family celebrated with a simple but emotional party. Anna was invited, and during the celebration, she reflected on the miracle she had witnessed. The faith of Gabriel's parents, their own desperate prayer, and the boy's surprising recovery were powerful reminders that, when everything seems to fall apart, there may need to be a new and better story to tell. After all, to build, it is necessary to destroy it before. Anna never turned her back on science, and nor should she, but she also never forgot the night that a simple prayer in the hospital chapel became a turning point in the battle against Gabriel's illness. She went on to share this experience with other doctors and patients, emphasizing the importance of not losing our communication with the divine, regardless of religion. The story of Gabriel and Anna became an inspiration for many colleagues. Anna was a very prestigious doctor, and her friends and colleagues had her as an example. Some say that God himself sought out the most renowned person in the hospital so that his testimony could reach the hardest hearts in that place. The inexplicable happens, and miracles can manifest themselves in the most different ways. Anna continued her work, now with a heart full of faith and a mind open to the infinite possibilities that life offers. A book was published by Dr. Anna a few years later, and, of course, Gabriel's miracle was among her greatest life experiences, right on page 5, making reference to the age the boy was when she met him. For many who have heard it, it seems simple, even though it isn't. But that was how the faith of many in that hospital became a possibility and refuge. They say that God works lightly, intelligently, and planned. And next thing you know, you'll notice how stubborn we are in realizing that the connection with the divine actually exists, but our arrogance always blinds us.